Who wants to play a game? The 240 game. Let's try and predict rotations for NBA teams. Let's see how squishy the minutes are. We're starting with the Pacific Division. The Sacramento Kings are in there. They signed Russell Westbrook today. What a mess. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I've been to the Love Hotel. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free. We are available on all platforms. I actually have been to the Love Hotel. I don't know if you've seen that show, reality show. It's on Bravo, Love Hotel. That's when I was in the States in July. Went to San Diego, went to Summer League, and then I had 6 days in Cabo, and we stayed at that hotel. So watching that show, it's very weird watching that show where you just came from staying at that hotel. So yeah, I'm a Love Hotel legend. All right, should we talk about the 240 game? Do you know what it is? Every NBA game, if it doesn't go to overtime, there are 240 minutes to be distributed to players. People love saying, this guy will play 26 and you'll get 24 minutes. Like, okay, cool. Figure out how it fits in. And when you go to do it, the guy that you're hoping for this big bump up, almost impossible to get into the minutes you want them to. Remembering that nearly every coach runs a 10-man rotation. Some will do 9. Some will do 11. But I would say 22 to 24 of the coaches will do 10 guys as a part of the rotation. If it's a blowout, they'll chuck a couple of extra guys in. Some, like Tibbs, would go 9 pretty consistently. I think Chris Finch will be a 9 guy this season. I think the Clippers could push to 11. I think the Warriors could push to 11. So just be aware of this when we're trying to figure out the value of guys and predict their fantasy value. Now, I'm focusing this on the beginning of the season because things will change as we go along. And this won't be all 100% correct, very obviously. I'm trying to predict this, of where these teams land in terms of how the coaches are going to play their guys. Inevitably, there will be things that are wrong here in big ways. And I'm trying to get as much information as we can to do this. So, we're doing the Pacific Division. And because the news was today that Russell Westbrook, which has been rumored for months, and I don't really understand what they're doing, because he signed with the Sacramento Kings, we'll do that because the team doesn't make sense. Are they going to trade away Malik Monk? They're not going to be able to hold on to someone like Terrence Davis. They're going to have to cut him. The team makes no sense at all. And now they've got no Keegan Murray also, so even further complications. So, as we do the 240 game for the Kings, I'm not going to include Keegan Murray in it because he's not there for the first month or so of the season. So when we're looking at these minutes, remember, the Keegan Murray is going to play 32, 33 minutes at least, and you've got to take that away. I believe that the Kings will start this lineup. Dennis Schroeder at about 28 minutes. I think that Keon Ellis will start in this scenario, replacing Keegan Murray, but only at about 24 minutes. But it might not be him. I doubt it's Russell Westbrook coming in a day before the season starts and starting. I don't think it'll be Nick Clifford. Don't think it'll be Maxime Reynaud. I wish it was. It could be Malik Monk. But I think that it will be Ellis at 24. I think Zach LaVine will play 35 minutes. I think DeMar DeRozan will play 35 minutes. I think Domantas Sabonis will play 35 minutes. And you know that I'm down on all three of those guys at their current fantasy ranks and ADPs just because the roster makes no sense and the ball is going to be in weird spots. Who has it? Where are the assists? What's the usage? How do you make the team work when no one defends or shoots outside of LaVine? It's a weird team. It's an incredibly weird team. So that's how I'm looking at that starting group without Keegan Murray. Of course, Keegan will start over Keon when he's returning, playing 32 to 33 minutes. So we've got to take those 32 to 33 minutes out of this 10-man rotation. The bench group, I do think that Doug Christie, who maybe I'll do, I don't know if I'll get a list of this done before the season starts, but the worst coaches in the NBA, he's got to be top 3. I think he might be terrible, and we'll see. But I think this is probably what they go with, especially initially. Rusty Westbrook playing 22 minutes. Remember, he has not been with the team in camp. He has not played in preseason. He is obviously older. I think he'll play 22, but that could jump up. Therefore, I don't think that you should be adding Russell Westbrook in fantasy leagues Because not only will I think he'll be playing low 20s, when Keegan comes back, what does he do? Now, this will change if Monk gets traded, for example, and I do not understand why this team hates Malik Monk. I don't get it. But the decision-making of this team, I have to question a lot of what Scott Perry is doing because it does not make sense. Westbrook, 22. I think Monk will play 25. And before Westbrook was signed, I thought Monk might push to 28 or 29 without Keegan. But you know that when we talk about Malik, and he is going appropriately now. People were drafting him in the 80s at the start of draft season. I was very much like, what are you doing? Not that it would necessarily lose you your league, but it would definitely put you on that path. Last season, he was 77th. He was 82nd in points leagues, Malik Monk. And he played 32 minutes a night. Bro is not doing that this season. Unless, again, maybe an injury happens. He will not start, and now he's got to compete on the bench with Alice when Murray is back and with Westbrook. It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, Malik Monk, he was going high. He's not anymore, and that makes more sense. But I do think that when Murray is back, we really won't be able to roster Malik Monk. I don't know how that'll work. I think that Nick Clifford plays 18 minutes on this team. I would have hoped that he would get 22 or 23 with an absence of Keegan, but especially early on, I think he gets 18. I think that Dario Saric will get the early nod as the backup center. Your other options are Drew Eubanks, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is Eubanks who gets the 13 minutes behind Sabonis. And maybe it's Maxime Reynaud. I do think, I'm saying Saric, but now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it is just Eubanks. And then the other one there is I've just given, just wafted 5 minutes onto the nose of Doug McDermott. This team is incredibly shallow. And you can say, well, that's why they signed Westbrook. Yeah, but it's literally just the wrong player to sign. It doesn't make any sense. And as I'm recording this, Keegan Murray's just signed a 5-year, $140 million extension. All right, fair, fine, whatever. Let's take a look. So I think Doug McDermott will get just dusted with 5 minutes. They could also just go 9-man without Keegan, and then Doug's 5 minutes. Westbrook goes to 25, Monk goes to 26, and Alice goes to 25 as well. As you can hear, Ovi had opinions about the Kings signing Russell Westbrook. So, yeah, it's tough, but again, like if you want to draft Russell Westbrook, how do you get him to, or so let's say Monk, Westbrook, and Alice. You want to draft those guys. This is me doing a 240 game without Keegan Murray, and I don't think that I've given that much to Saric is playing exclusively backup center there. Yeah, the 5 minutes from McDermott, fine, get rid of him. Take Nick Clifford down to 12 if you want. That's 11 minutes between those other three players. And this is with me giving Schroeder only 28. It's really hard, man. It's really hard to find enough value in those guys and enough playing time to make that make sense. We've got the Suns, the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Warriors all coming up in this show. Today's episode is brought to you, though, by FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer that you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 on FanDuel, and you get $300 in bonus bets if that first bet wins. Pick a bet, put $5 down, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You can use it on same-game parlays. NBA season total wins. Under on the Kings, I don't know what the number is. Let's just say under. Under for the Kings. That's I literally don't know the number. It's an under for them. But you can do player props and totals and in-game betting, all that sort of stuff. So what are you waiting for? Go to FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and to get started. All right, we are, of course, talking about the 240 game, the game where I try and figure out how the 240 minutes get distributed for each team to begin the NBA season. We're doing the Pacific Division. We did the Kings, let's do the Phoenix Suns now as the next team, who also has an injury to start the year with Jalen Green not being available. Now, unlike Keegan Murray, I'm going to include Jalen Green in this because he might only miss 1 or 2 games. Murray might miss a month plus. So this is how I think it's going to shake out. Devin Booker with 36 minutes. That is my original projection on that. He played a ton last season. We don't really know Jordan Ott's philosophy in terms of, we saw Mike Budenholzer have a philosophy, and that was thrown completely out the window last season where they just played everyone a million minutes. But Booker played 37 last season. I'm bringing that down. He was 25th in categories and 26th in points. He's going in the first round, and I think it's reasonable because I think he's going to have to be the primary point guard. And even last season, with Tyus Jones, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant around, he averaged 7 assists a game. I think that's going up. I'm very certain that's going up. Because the other point guards on this team, Colin Gillespie, Jordan Goodwin, Jared Butler. Anyone who could actually dribble on this team, there's nobody. So Booker's numbers are going to go up. And I've got him at 36 minutes for this season, and a first-round guy, no problem. I do have Jalen Green as being out for the opener with a hamstring. Ott has said as much. But I think when he's back and healthy, we'll get 34 minutes for him. Dylan Brooks at 32. Now, that could come down to 30. I am worried in some games where Brooks remembers what he used to be in Memphis and just starts taking every shot. In Houston, Ime Udoka must have threatened him with a couple of backhanders or something because he definitely just reined it in. Will he do that here on a team with Ryan Dunn's not taking shots? Green and Booker will, but I don't know. I'm a little worried that Brooks makes the team horrendous offensively, and there's concerns there. I've got Ryan Dunn at 28. I don't think that's enough to be any more than a steals and blocks streaming specialist. He's taking more threes, and they're going in at a rate better than I thought, but the usage is incredibly low still. And then I do think that Mark Williams will be a 28-minute a night guy early. They haven't played him in preseason. They said they've got a plan for him. I think he'll sit back-to-backs, especially early on. We saw him play 30-plus minutes in Charlotte, so he can do it. I think that initially you'll be at 28, and hopefully he's able to push it up to 30 as we move forward. Their rotation grouping. This will change as the season goes on as well. I've got Grayson Allen as a 27-minute a night player, but with Green out, I think he's getting 32, which makes him a guy to pick with your last selection or add off the waiver wire for now. Even in 27 minutes, Allen is borderline 12s. If you have 14-man rosters in a 12-team league, he might be useful. And in 14-team leagues, yeah, and he's available everywhere. Nobody has really any interest, it seems, in Grayson Allen. But the absence of Green, the fact that I thought he was going to play a pretty sizable role anyway, he's interesting. I've got Royce O'Neal at 18 minutes. That could be very wrong. Maybe Dunn plays 25 and O'Neal plays 21, but O'Neal looked a little washed last season. The shooting is not reliable. His defense was not there. He improved his passing a lot. I think Colin Gillespie will slide in as the backup point guard. I've got him at 17 minutes. He's a pretty good player. They've got 3 point guards, Gillespie, Butler, and Jordan Goodwin, that if any of them started a game, you would add them. They all have top 100 fantasy value as starters. I think Gillespie gets the first crack. I've got Osa Ighodaro playing 15 minutes as the reserve center. I also have Kaman Malwatch playing 7. You'll notice I do not have Big Dick Nick Richards in this group because I don't think they're all going to play, and they shouldn't have any organizational priority on Richards. I can see Malwatch has 7 minutes improving as the season goes on, but remember, Ighodaro is ahead of him, and Williams exists. So what is their idea going to be? How quickly do they move into that development of Malwatch? Does Ighodaro just play exclusively as a 4 and they take O'Neal out of the rotation? And then Malwatch moves up? All possible. But at the moment, I think we're going to see low minutes from Malwatch, and it will push up as the season goes on, I'm guessing. As they move off of Royce O'Neal at some point, I do think they'll do that. Let's talk about scrappy underdog, small market, Los Angeles Lakers. They will not have LeBron James to begin the season, and I am very worried about LeBron this season. So he will not be included in these minutes. I think he's a 33 to 34 minute a night guy most nights. But I think he's going to be in and out of the lineup a lot, and he won't be there for the first 3 to 4 weeks, I'm guessing. Doncic, I have got at 35 minutes. He might go higher than that. If JJ Redick wants to go higher, maybe he does. I've got Austin Reeves at 35. I really like Reeves this season, especially without LeBron. Even with LeBron, I'm fine with him. Actually, don't mind it if you get Luka in round 1, getting Reeves in round 3. Because if Luka misses a game, then Reeves goes up anyway. So I've got him at 35 minutes. I think that at this stage, Jake LaRavia probably replaces LeBron. It could be Marcus Smart. It could be Jared Vanderbilt-Barr. But I think it's LaRavia. I've got him at 25 minutes. You saw in my 14-team mock draft earlier today that I wanted to grab him, and old mate Karan Talwar took him. Still not happy about it. I'm not sure that LaRavia will be a 12-team guy, but I can see him flashing, especially if it's a low-volume game. Well, not like a Josh Primo style, but flashing some talent. I expect that he'll be some games that we like to use him, but overall I'm not sure it'll be enough. Got Rui Hachimura playing 31 minutes, but that's largely because LeBron is out. I think he'd be pushing down to more of a 28 or 29 if LeBron was there. Now, Rui's one of the guys that, again, LeBron's out. We get the questions. Do we add Rui? He has historically been terrible for category leagues. Maybe terrible is too far. He's been like the Japanese Harrison Barnes. the guy that sits there and it's like, oh, here's 13 points and 5 rebounds and 1.5 assists, and you've got 0.8 steals and 50 and 70 and 75, and that's so cool, man. Like, who cares? It doesn't do anything. He doesn't shoot enough threes. The percentages are fine, but the volume's low. There's no assists, there's no steals, there's no blocks. The rebounds are subpar. He's bad. He's better usually in points leagues, but not always. So now he moves into like a streamy sort of territory with LeBron not there. He played 32 minutes a night last season. I'm not sure that he does it this year. So I've only got him at 31, but less when LeBron plays. And then I've got DeAndre Ayton at 31 minutes. I think he's looked pretty good in the preseason. You draft him in the 60s and 70s, you're fine. I've got him at 31 minutes. Their backup situation is not good. They will go small at times, but I think that Ayton has been pretty solid so far on this team, and having someone like Luka and even Reeves feed you the ball is good. Their bench, as I just noticed, I spelled something wrong, which annoys me. Marcus Smart, I've got at 22 minutes. I do think that officially he might be actually washed. I think he might be done. Like, I've only got him at 22 minutes, so we're not worrying there. I've got Vanderbilt at 24. He's looked, I don't know why. I went to say Vanderbilt bar, and it's a different cadence to just saying Vanderbilt, but it didn't come out right. Jared Vanderbilt at 24 minutes. Is it enough to use? Much like Laravia, probably in 14 teams. What's 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 assists, a block, 60% shooting on 5 attempts? Maybe. It's okay. He flashes some things at times. Again, little bits and pieces, but I think he'll get 24. I've got Jackson Hayes at 17, and that might be too many. Maybe he plays 15, and then they go Vanderbilt and Hachimura small ball centers at times too. I've got Dalton Connect for 10 minutes. I don't think this guy is very good. I think he can shoot sometimes. I don't know if he really makes sense here. I've only actually got him in the rotation because LeBron is out. And I've got Gabe Vincent at 10. I think that if LeBron was playing, Dalton Connect would not play. And I do not think that you should be drafting Dalton in 10, 12, 14, or 16 team leagues. I just think that that would be a mistake to do that. We're going to come back to talk about the Clippers and the Golden State Warriors. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Wayfair. The holidays, they're going to be here before you know it. And that's exciting. But there's a lot that happens, and you might have to get your house ready for guests or celebrations, and that can feel like a lot. Your serving stuff might need more. Do you need more trays, plates, tongs, sliders, spatulas, silverware, plateware, napkinware? I don't know what you guys call it, but whatever you need. Maybe you need extra bedding for the spare bedroom. Maybe you need a new couch because someone with a gigantic family is coming over and needs the space. I don't know. Wayfair is going to have all those things for you to make it easy to personalize your home for holiday season. So get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time, and the NBA season is here. That's why we're doing the 240 game, and nothing beats being there live for the games, opening night, opening week, getting there to watch your favorite team, a team you're in a city traveling to, whatever it is. Getting there is great, and you want to do that easy, and that's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It is your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast and stress-free. Their zone deals enables you to just pick an area that you want to see, and they'll find the best value prices for you. You can even find tickets for under $25 on Game Time, so take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Of course, we are here talking about the Pacific Division. We're playing the 240 game, trying to work out rotations for the beginning of the season for all 5 of these squads. Let's now go to the other LA team. We're talking about the legendary tree planters themselves, the LA Clippers, and their team is incredibly deep. Like, unbelievably deep. With players that you could easily see getting rotation minutes on 28 other teams, not even in the main rotation. I think that their starters will look like this. James Harden at 34 minutes. We saw Harden last season obviously be awesome. I had him in my first round, that 7-8 mark in category leagues. I've pulled that back a little bit because I heard Ty Lue talk about that he is going to try and ease off a little bit with Harden, and with Kawhi healthy to begin the season and Bradley Beal and Chris Paul there, maybe he just doesn't run as many pick and rolls as he had in the past. So I've moved him from 35 to 34, which does have an impact. I've got Bradley Beal at only 30 minutes. I think that he could easily play more than that. If Bradley Beal came out and played 33 minutes, wouldn't shock me. But I think given, again, once you see the bench guys, the depth of players here, and someone who's had so many soft tissue and back problems like Beal, they don't need to push him more than that. Kawhi is just that good that he will play 34. He might even play 35. In fact, down the stretch last season, he was playing like 37. And he played like one back-to-back. I don't know what the plan is for them on back-to-backs this season. But again, the depth of this team should mean that they'll be able to at least give him some time off. And early in the season, they have back-to-backs with one game of their, I think, they've got like 15 back-to-backs in the season. But their first lot of back-to-backs, right, Monday, Tuesday, they have the Heat and the Thunder. So you could probably sit guys against the Heat, especially if Tyler Hero's not there. Then they played the Celtics and the Sixers. So you can easily probably sit one there. Then it's the Hornets and the Cavs. So you can see how someone like Kawhi will be able to take those back-to-backs off. That's all in the first month because they're not particularly challenging teams. You can say Miami's fine and Boston might be better than we think, but the Clippers should cook them no problem. Or Philly might have no one out, like no one in that game. Who knows? So I do think the Kawhi sits. I've only got Johnny Collins at 27. Number of reasons. The depth. If I put John Collins at 30 minutes and Derek Jones is playing like 15, and I just don't think that's realistic. Could they go small and have situations where Kawhi is the 4 and Jones is the 3? Could they go big where it's Collins, Jones, Kawhi at the 2, 3, 4? It is going to be an opportunity for Lou to do a million different things. I just don't think they're going to lock in 30 minutes of John Collins when Kawhi can play up and Jones can play that position as well to get some of these other guys like Dunn and Paul and Bogdanovic into games. So I've got Collins at 27 minutes. And I've got Zubats only at 29. Now I think there'll be times when Brook Lopez doesn't play that it will bump Zubats up to 31, 32. But he played like 33 minutes a night last season, Zubats, and that was pushing to 35 down the stretch. He was awesome. He was 35th in points leagues and 66th in category leagues. He averaged 17 and 13 with only one block and bad free throws, but good field goals. But I don't think there's any way he's doing 33 minutes again. I've got him at 29 at the moment, Zubats, which is why he's been a fixture on my do not draft this guy here. Why is he at 14 on ESPN points? He's not anymore, but why is he at 30? Why is he at 40? I don't believe in him in those spots. I don't see how he replicates the playing time. And someone said, yeah, but he's only 28 years old, man. Like, why would they reduce his minutes? Well, when he was 26, he played 26 minutes a night. So that argument doesn't really fly for me. Part of the reason why they'll keep some of his minutes down is they want to make sure that he stays fresh and healthy, and they've got other players. They didn't bring Brook Lopez in to play 14 minutes a night. I'm very certain of that. So I don't see how we're getting a scenario where Zubats is replicating or improving on what he did last season. I don't see that happening. Their rotation guys, they could go 11 deep very easily. At the moment, I've only got them planned out to 10. And even then, the minutes look so thin on some of these guys. I've got Derek Jones at 18. It's not very many. Is Derek Jones super good? Not really, but Lou does like him. And like, you would think that 24 minutes would be normal for him. How? I've got Brook Lopez at 18 minutes. It's not very many. Bro played 32 minutes a night last season, Brook Lopez. 32. Is he going to play 20 with Zubats at 28? I don't know. I don't know how to get the minutes to a spot that feels normal. I got Chris Paul at 22. I don't even know whether he plays back-to-backs. So that's another guy that he can play with Harden, behind Harden, next to Beal. He could easily play 25, but then like Bogdanovic, I've only got him 17 minutes. I got Chris Dunn at 11, and I have Nico Batum playing 0. Now Batum will be the guy that comes in when Kawhi's out and Beal's out or Paul's out or whatever they're doing. And he'll play a lot of games, but is he their 11th guy? And Batum's an awesome player. This doesn't even include some of the young guys, Jordan Miller or Kobe Brown, who there was some talk that maybe they do a little bit more this season. But I honestly have no idea how. They are a very tough team to figure out. Incredibly tough because, like, again, this is one of the key illustrations of the 240 game. How? How do you get Bogdanovic to 25? How does Paul play 25? How does Lopez play 24? How? On any given night, it just doesn't feel possible to me. And now let's go to the Golden State Warriors. I don't know about one of these spots. Steph, I've got at 33. Cool. I've got Jimmy Butler at 33. I've got Draymond at 30. And I've got Al Horford at 27. And I expect that Horford sits back-to-back. So I don't think that's controversial. I think that's pretty well accepted. Last season, we saw Horford play like 28 down the stretch when Porzingis was sick. And I think 27-28 is fine here for Horford. I've got the other spot there as Brandon Podziemski, currently at 29 minutes. Now, you know that I've seen Podziemski start to slide into the 90s in drafts. His last game was not very good. And at the moment, Moses Moody is out. But it does appear that Moody will be available to return at the beginning of the season. So Moody was starting over Podziemski. And given that there are just so many options here for Kerr, I'm a little worried about what Podziemski does. He played 27 a night last season, but once Jimmy arrived, he looked much better and he played like 31, 32 a night. But given the rotation and the players available, I much like the Clippers, I don't know how we get there. I don't know how he gets to 32 minutes. He averaged 12, 5, and 3.5 last season. I think it improves. I think his efficiency improves. I think his playing time sort of improves. But I'm not certain of it. Because as you'll see, as we get to the next page of their rotation guys, it's squishy, man. Like, what if Moses Moody starts? I've got him at 20 minutes at the moment, but he could play 24 as a starter. So there's 4 minutes you've got to find. Buddy Hield, I've got at 21 minutes. I've got John Kuminga at 22, and you said, but he'll play more than that. But how? Over who? Does Podziemski play 24 minutes as a starter? And those 5 minutes go to Kuminga to 27? I don't know. Steve Kerr loves Gary Payton II. I've only got him for 13 minutes. Quinton Post, very good stretch center. Maybe they just go Horford and Green only. I don't think that'll be the case, but maybe they do. And Post has got 12 minutes. This doesn't even include Guy Santos Alhelpa in this rotation, who I think that Kerr will want to play in this mix. Or it doesn't include DeAnthony Melton, who won't be available for the first month of the season returning from a torn ACL, but he's going to play. Further giving me pause on what we do with Podziemski. Because you have Podziemski, Moody, Hield. Does Payton still play when Melton comes back? I don't think so. I think Melton will get in there ahead of him. But I don't know. There's a lot of depth currently on this team of good players. You'll also notice that Trace Jackson-Davis is not included here. I think Jackson-Davis will play when Horford sits. He might play ahead of Post. But you're going to have Horford and Green ahead. So at best, TJD is the third string center. He might be fourth. It doesn't include old mate Will Richard, who played well in the last game. Pat Spencer's a pretty good player. Seth Curry. Will he be in the rotation? Well, he won't be on the roster. They're going to waive him soon, and then he'll be re-signed about a month into the season. But another guy that will probably play. So they are going to use weird rotations. So the limits on Moody and Podziemski, and even like Jackson Davis, if you want to go that way, or if you for some reason think that Kuminga and Hield are the answer, play the 240 game. It's very easy to say, well, they'll just play 8 guys, so they'll bump everyone up. That's not a reality of how teams usually work, though. And that's the Pacific Division. I hit the wrong button there. I've avoided it the whole day. Hit the wrong button. I should have... bad mistake. Doesn't matter. It's a 240 game. It's Pacific Divisions. We're trying to figure out rotations here. Subscribe if you weren't off put by that incorrect transition title that came across. If you are on the YouTube app, scroll across where the comments are and hit hype. Double bang. Watch the video, listen to the audio, share it, comment, all that stuff. Tell me how you think one of these teams or all of these teams would look different with your 240 game. And then when you think about when you're trying to pump guys' value up, go, yeah, actually pretty hard to get them playing time. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya. Oh, he's a good boy.